Please put away all phones and electronic devices so you can place your attention on today's ceremony honoring all veterans and military service members. Ladies and gentlemen, students, cadets, staff, and veterans, thank you for joining us this morning as we recognize our veterans and military service members for their service to our great country. I'm Cadet McKinley Wardell from Triad AFJ-ROTC. As we take the time today to pay our respects to those veterans who served and military service members currently serving, we thank them for their selfless actions performed for the welfare of the generations ahead. Our veterans and members of the United States military have and are serving in over 100 countries around the world, sometimes laying down their lives for our freedom and rights as American citizens. To begin the ceremony, I would like to direct your attention to the Honor Guard as they present the colors in the bit and plays the national anthem. Please stand and remove your hats.
Reset. Arms.
Freezing.
You may be seated. Please direct your attention to the screen for the meaning of Veterans Day video.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. Support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers appointed over me according to regulations and Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the
anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began in the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living, and the one they would never live. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and born with their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
We will now play the Armed Forces Medley. If you have served or are currently serving in a branch of the military, please stand and be recognized during the playing of your services song. Now focus your attention on center floor as a triad AFJ. focus your attention on the center floor as the Triad AFJROTC Honor Guard performs a special flag holding ceremony. Our United States flag has represented our great country for over 200 years and is used to display our nationalism and patriotism as American citizens. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's unity as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and the design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor, white signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown into space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force's satellites that circle our globe and on the twin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it also flies in the heart of every military service member who serves our great nation, the sun never sets on our flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen will remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, military service members have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Would our Noster High School Principal, Miss Leslie Brown, come down to the floor to make a very special presentation.
For the students that are here, this is my most favorite assembly that we do every year. We do a lot of assemblies where we talk to you about how to behave. We have a lot of assemblies that we try to create moments for you where high school is memorable. But this is the one assembly that we have is meaningful and impactful, because this is an assembly that celebrates people who died or set out to do whatever it took to protect us. It is something that you can't show enough honor, and honestly it encompasses everything we do all day long. They fought for us to have a chance to safely go to school. They fought for us to safely have a chance to walk the streets and enjoy our families, and they fought for us to have our freedoms, the chance to vote, the chance to express our opinions, even if we don't like what the other person's opinion is. They fought for that just so we could have it. You cannot take that lightly. I was raised by a Vietnam veteran. We already know this chokes me up, so just bear with me. My dad has 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, and a Bronze Star. These are not participation medals that you get because you showed up. These were fought in the line of battle. Those sacrifices don't end when you come home from war. Those sacrifices are something that you live through daily. There are demons that come with fighting in war. There are demons that come when you have to put everything you have on the line and take another life to protect those behind. I watched the aftermath of that daily. I was raised by someone who has severe PTSD and 13 reconstructive back surgeries, all for what he did in Vietnam. So, ladies and gentlemen here today, I take your effort not lightly. I know exactly what you did and what it means. And I think the whole purpose of these ceremonies is then to tell a story. I spent hours at VA hospitals trying to raise rights for Vietnam veterans, not just Vietnam, all veterans, so they have the proper health care that they need. I go to many ceremonies, parades, and we work with the VA very closely to make sure that all veterans have their rights. In one of these, I met our former principal, Mr. Easterwood. I met his grandpa. His grandpa stormed the beaches of Normandy, and no one would have ever known, because he thought that everybody would have done exactly what he did. He was a gentle giant. That means stormed the beaches of Normandy. No, not everyone would have done that. But that's what you learn when you're in the presence of a lot of veterans. So, each year we want to share a story, and this year we're going to share one of our own about Miss Liz. Miss Liz, will you just stand up and wave real quick? Entered basic training at Lackland Air Force Base on November 28th of 1978. When I enlisted, I had already planned to work with the Minuteman missile system. After technical school at Chanute Air Force Base in Illinois, I was stationed at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota as a facility maintenance technician. This was a career field that did not have very many females. Look at you go, Miss Liz. So I had to prove that I could handle the job. I worked on the support equipment that surrounds the missile along with the launch control facilities. I was stationed there from May of 1979 until June of 82. And then I moved to Whiteman Air Force Base and worked in plans and scheduling. I was responsible for knowing the status of all 150 missile stations. The 351st Missile Wing was deactivated in 1995, and then I moved to Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota until my retirement in 1998. My time in the Air Force was the best decision of my life. The decision to join the Air Force was the best decision I could have ever made. It taught me that I can be a strong team member, disciplined, have self-confidence, and a sense of family that I didn't really have growing up. The lifelong friendships are something that I will treasure forever. When Miss Liz finished with the military, she moved back to Knob, and she worked for the Knob Noster School District and started in November of 1999. Of the past 25 years of her service to us, she spent 23 of them right here in the high school, helping students like you. So we would like to thank Miss Liz for her service, not only in the military, but for right here at KNHS. I have one more story I want to tell, and he isn't able to be here with us to share it. He's a former student of mine. His name is Joe Semper. He was funny, he was honoring, so honoring. I have so many stories, but I won't tell them on this platform because this is one to honor him. He had a giant heart. He had big curls, as you can see, and he had a beautiful smile. He was a football player, he was a wrestler. He attempted track one year, but he didn't really like running. He was serving with the Army in Afghanistan and went killed in action. He had recently had a son 4 months prior. His son's name is Liam. He's currently in 8th grade. I make it a priority to keep Joe's memory alive and his legacy important. I make sure that Liam knows that he mattered and his father was a hero with every chance I have. All gave some, and some gave all. Thank you.
Job and the life, the time came, his car recalled. He joined the army, he went to war, without knowing what he's fighting for. When he learned from his dad, he was an honorary man. When it's time to serve, you give all you can. 'Cause some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best place to live thought of his wife as he rode back home. His thoughts of her made life a little easier all the way up to the end. He took a bullet for his friend. And as he died, he looked in his eyes. And this is what he said: you gotta make it home, live a good life. We can't let them another wife. And please remember, some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best things to give, live a life worth living. Some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best things to give, live a life worth living. But he made it home to see his wife. He found a new purpose for his life. He visits hospitals, schools, and graves. Says thanks every day for the lives that he saved. And on the 11th of each November, tells a story only he can remember. About a man who died to save his life, so he can make it home and see his wife. And he spreads his message to everyone, that some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best way to make that, live a life worth living. Some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best way to make that, live a life worth living. Some things are worth fighting for, some things are worth dying for. The best things to live, live a life worth living. Live a life worth living.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the table in the court. You may have noticed a table set before you. It is filled with symbolism. I will explain. This table is set for our prisoners of war and those missing in action from all wars. They are not with us today. Their chairs are empty but safe for their home return. Let us remember their absence. Let us remember the men and women prisoners of war from all branches of service that are too often forgotten. Let us remember them. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms, so that their children could remain free. Remember. The lone candle symbolizes the frailty of prisoners alone, trying to stand up against his oppressors. Remember. The black ribbon on the candle reminds us of those who will not be coming home. Remember. The single rose reminds us of the loved ones, that families of our comrades in arms who keep the faith and await the return. Remember. The red, white, and blue ribbon is tied to the flower raised by a yellow ribbon that was worn by thousands who awaited their return. Remember. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. If we do not bring them home, remember. There is salt on the plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait and remember. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us tonight, maybe tomorrow if we remember. The faded picture on the table is a reminder that they are missed very much and are remembered by their families. Remember. The Holy Bible represents faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country founded us one nation under God. Remember. The empty chair depicts an unknown face representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or marine, but all who are not here with us. Remember. As we look upon this table, do not remember ghosts from the past. Remember our comrades. Remember those whom we depended on in battle. They depend on us to bring them home. Remember our friends. They are ones we love, who love life and freedom as we do. They will remember what we do. Please Please honor and remember them. Please show your respect to our veteran and military service members as you depart the gym today. Thank you for attending.